Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Goldyn Show. This is episode 74, How to Live from Higher Guidance and No Longer Manifest from Old Belief Systems. This is a conversation that is big. It's a giant conversation that really deserves your undivided attention. So I'm back from an incredible vacation that I took with my husband. We went to Connecticut to see our daughter. She turned 30. I cannot freaking believe it. I have a 30-year-old. We had an awesome time. We actually went and rented a house in Maine. There's a place in Maine that's like her favorite on Sebago Lake. And we rented a little house and we rented a boat, and we just had an incredible time just being in the country, being with our daughter, just really relaxing, really enjoying one another, and got to see a lot of family, got to, visit some old neighborhoods and walk down memory lane, which was really cool. And I think this trip for me was really special because I had gone back 3 years ago for my daughter's wedding, and I was super anxious at that time. And, there was the wedding, and my daughter had just moved back from California. So there was some grief there. And I really disliked it. I really disliked Connecticut. And I really just felt like I didn't want to be there. And, I enjoyed her wedding. We had an incredible time at her wedding. We rented a beautiful home. I mean, the whole experience was great. But the love that I felt for the country this time was very different. So I think sometimes we kind of have to get to that place of not liking a place, especially if you're going to leave it. It's like I had to get to that place of disdain to be able to do what we did and take that huge leap of faith to be able to call California home. And, it was interesting when we flew back home, coming back into Orange County, which is not a lot of trees, a lot of homes, a lot of people. I felt better. I felt like a vibrational raise. And I was like, geez, I wonder if it's like a feng shui thing, because there's so many trees and there's so much vegetation and there's so much land that coming back here, it kind of felt like my focus opened a little bit. So, it depends on where you're supposed to be. I think you're going to feel better where you're supposed to be. So I was thinking today how when we got home and I had a wonderful time, and I love my daughter so much and I love spending time with her. So there is that. And beautifully, she's coming out here in a month with her husband, which is really great. So I didn't really have to be sad about leaving her. But again, that kind of sadness and that kind of grief, and like, even I loved being with them because every day we would all just be like, oh my gosh, we still have 2 days left, instead of being like, oh, we only have 2 days left. It was like, it was a long vacation. It was like 10 days or 2 weeks. It was a long time. So we had enough time to really enjoy ourselves, but no, everyone was in the moment. We weren't feeling like this is going by too fast. So that was a beautiful thing. A couple other realizations that I had on vacation were the things that used to make me miserable before, the things that used to steal my joy before. So we rented this house on the lake, and it wasn't really my standards, kind of simple, basic. The one thing that I absolutely fell in love with is there was an outdoor shower, and wow, do I love an outdoor shower. So that was amazing. I took 2 showers a day because I loved it so much. But the house itself was fine. But the bedrooms were upstairs and the bathroom was downstairs. Now, me being like in my late 40s, I go to the bathroom like quite a few times a night. So it was interesting because I kind of broke myself of that a little bit, thinking about going down the stairs. But things like that, and like a super small kitchen without a lot of counter space, things like that in the past could have really like lowered my vibe. It really could have caused me to get into a little bit of misery and possibly ruin some moments. And there was none of that. And I thought it was pretty cool. And this is the biggest realization I think that I've been having lately, and something that I really want to give to you is the fact that our lives are full of contrast. Like, they're full of experience that create contrast, that when I got home to my bedroom with my huge master bath, I felt more joy. I felt more appreciation. I felt more gratitude. When I go to the ocean now, being away from it and being in the country, I felt more gratitude. We went for an ocean walk this morning, and it just felt better. It felt more amazing than it usually does. Not that it doesn't feel amazing, but there's a capacity for joy that we experience. So I think oftentimes we can keep ourselves in a little box in life, and we can want to feel safe and want to feel the same and not want to do things outside of our comfort zone. And we really do ourselves a major disservice when we do that. Just freaking try things. Just do things. Get out of your comfort zone, because they're always going to lend you to some sort of expansion and growth. Now, you may get to that situation and say, this is not something that I want to do again. And that's great. That's great information, right? So life is all about experiences, and you can't screw it up. As much as you may look back over your life experience and say, I've made all these mistakes, and they're all part of it. They're all part of this beautiful, expanding being that you are. They're all part of you stepping into higher consciousness and becoming more of who you truly are. So you can't get it wrong, and you can't get it done. And it's just this beautiful, expanding thing. I think, when we're getting ready to make decisions about big things in life, or even in small things in life, when we're like, oh, should I do this or should I not do this? Especially those things that maybe we've never done before. Like when I first agreed to this Maine trip, it was all about my daughter. This was what she wanted to do for her 30th. I was extremely honored that she wanted to be with her parents. Like, that's such a cool thing that my kid wants to be with me for her 30th birthday, and just us. And that was really a beautiful thing. So it was all about her. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered as far as like where we were staying, or, it just didn't matter. It was all a super incredible experience. So do things, try things, get out of your comfort zone, because that's where your growing edge is. That's when you're going to find out more about yourself. That's when you're going to find out, oh, I have the ability to be happy in all circumstances. I have the ability to feel joy no matter what is going on around us. I also found with family, like family that I haven't seen in a few years, and, they've got a lot of things going on, and there's some contrast there. And just witnessing that, but not feeling it, like not getting so, I know a lot of people that do this, and we really do ourselves a great disservice when we do this. We get ourselves in an empathetic place where we start to try to feel their feelings, and we feel so bad for them that we cannot be a light. So our position in life is to be that light, not to feel sorry for people, not to feel like, oh, I need to save them, or I need to rescue them, or I need to figure out a way to help. There's none of that going on. Let yourself off the hook. Everyone is experiencing the life that they are choosing. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't that a freeing thing? I just find it so freeing. So I was able to be really present with family members and friends and just love them in the moment, and not feel like I needed to give advice or fix things. I've definitely done this in the past. And the thing, I read something on Facebook, and I think it was a meme, maybe on Instagram. I think I've shared this before, but I absolutely love this quote. When you're looking to give someone advice and they're not ready to receive it, it can often feel like an attack. They can feel like they're being attacked. And I'm definitely guilty of that in the past. So I'm backing away from that. I'm backing away from needing to rescue people. And to be totally honest with you, I really think it maybe came from an egoic place, where it was my ego, like, oh, I have what you need. I have the information that you need to save you. And that is just, it's a disempowering way to live. It's disempowering to them. It's disempowering to your experience. And it puts a heavy responsibility on us when we believe that we have information that we constantly need to share. I think maybe this podcast has freed me up a little bit, because the information's out there. If people want it, they will come to it. If they're ready for it, they'll be here with me and they'll be listening. So it's a very freeing way to live, to not feel like we're responsible for people's journeys and we're responsible to save them and we're obligated to take some of the heat off of them. That's not our position. Our position is to listen to our intuition. It's to listen to that higher guidance. That's what this show is about today. So higher guidance, you may be a little confused about higher guidance. You may be a little confused about your higher consciousness, that place where it's like that place where you and infinite intelligence meets. That's the way I like to look at it. It's like your soul's path. It's your soul's wisdom. It's like those small voices inside of you that get louder as you take the time to listen. We can't hear higher guidance or higher consciousness when we're living in the monkey mind, when we're in um, constant dialogue with the shitty committee, when we're in constant dialogue with the mind who is always trying to get us to stay safe and the same, and always trying to keep us in this little box that doesn't allow us to grow. So higher consciousness will never tell you that things are a bad idea. They just won't. Yes, you're going to have intuitions that tell you not to do things and not to go places. But when you have a super creative, amazing, inspired idea, your higher consciousness will not talk you out of it. When you have a desire to live somewhere else, when you have a desire to go after a dream, your higher consciousness will never talk you out of it. It will continue to bother you every single day. It will just be this constant. Usually in the middle of the night, it'll be talking to you in the middle of the night and telling you what it wants to do. It's usually those voices that tell you to give up substances, tell you to stop living your life less than. When we came home, I realized, and if you're not living this, I'm going to really implore you to do it, to really figure out a way to live where you want to live. Because when we got home, I didn't feel any sadness. I felt like, I'm home and it feels good to be home. So if you're not feeling like it's good to be home, then I would really implore you to go back to that vacation spot and see if there's a way you can live there. I mean, why the hell not? And you know what? As much as they say life is short, it's not. Life is long. Life is long, and we have a lot of opportunities to go and do the things that we truly love. Why would we do less than that? Why would we live a life that's less than? It just doesn't make sense to me. So right now, if you're living in that experience and you're feeling every day like there's something calling to you, start listening, start meditating. Of course, meditating is the best way to connect with your higher consciousness. So it's quieting that mind, it's taking deep breaths, it's taking the time to honor your relationship every single day with higher consciousness, 15 to 20 minutes where you're just shutting down that monkey brain. It's a practice, so it takes practice, but I promise you that you can do it. And if you need help, the M21 Revolution on Facebook is a great resource for getting you started in a meditation practice. We have tons of videos. You can go into the search bar of it. Just ask to join and we'll let you in. It's a free group, donation-based challenges. Go into the search bar and search day 1 and do a 21-day challenge and just trust what comes up on day 1. It's for you. Absolutely. Then do day 2. We do 21-day challenges and really challenge yourself to make a firm commitment to your meditation practice. This is the game changer. For me, this was the game changer for my entire life. I started meditating, 16, 17 years ago, I started meditating, and it's changed who I am as a mother, as a wife, as a person, as a friend. It's changed everything. As a manifester, if you really want to up level your manifestation abilities, get into that space of higher consciousness, because that is zero state awareness in quantum physics, and it's where everything is created from. And so when you visualize in that place, when you allow the visions to come to you, what you're looking to live, and you allow yourself to feel it, you are actually activating energy in the field, in the quantum field where everything is created from. So it's super duper powerful. Now, if you've been doing this for a while, you've been envisioning something for a long time and it's not coming to fruition, let it go for a little bit. You got to allow some stuff to happen and activate something. So do something towards that vision, because that helps to move the energy if you feel like you've been in a stuck pattern for a while. Think outside the box. If you've been thinking for a long time that you want to do something and you've been thinking about it a certain way, ask for other ideas, ask for other opportunities or possibilities to come to you so that you can start doing things differently. Read the energy field. If something's pulling you, if you bump into someone, if you keep seeing ads about something, Pay attention to what's in your energetic field. And if you have a bunch of negative bullshit in your energetic field, I just heard something. Actually, I was listening to a YouTube of someone, and he was talking about how we're all in a bunch of restriction. And I was like, I don't feel like I'm in any restriction at all. I just traveled across the country. My face was free. I was able to breathe. I didn't have to. I didn't have to do anything out of the ordinary. I don't feel like I'm living in restriction. And I'm like, I thought for a second, I wonder what's going on in the world. And then I was like, oh, I don't really want to know. And I know that sounds like denial, and it sounds like ignorance, and things are going to get taken away. I just don't go there, baby. Like, that creates misery that I do not accept in my life experience. Because if you truly believe that we create our own realities, we do not have to take part in what the world is telling us is going on. And also, how the hell do we know what's really going on? We don't, right? So why not choose? Why not choose what you focus on? Why not choose what you believe? Why not choose what you create? That is your ability to be a powerful and deliberate creator in this life experience. And I freaking love it. It's one of my favorite things. All right, so I've not looked at my notes once. I actually changed the show a little bit. I was just going to do a show on belief systems. So I'm going to dive into belief systems so you can understand where your old belief systems come from and how to start manifesting from higher consciousness, how to really get yourself out of this 3D experience. Yes, you are living in a 3D experience. What does that mean? There's a giant effing illusion going on, a giant illusion that this is all there is. There's a giant illusion. I mean, Albert Einstein himself, after doing all of these studies, after doing so much science, right? Science, like what's in front of me, what's real, said there has to be something else. There is something else. He proved it in so many ways to say, this isn't all there is. Isn't that cool? I love contemplating stuff like that because that makes me feel like, oh, wow, a miracle could happen at any second. Any second, energy can change, energy can shift. I can meet someone, something incredible can happen. And when you live from that vibrational frequency, life doesn't feel so mundane. And when life doesn't feel so mundane or so stressful or so heavy, you actually tune into lighter frequencies. When you tune into lighter frequencies, you experience things of a lighter frequency. Funny people, grateful people, friendly people, fun, laughter, just hilarious things happening where you are just lighthearted and available. I see so many people not available. They're not available for fun. They're not available for a smile. How many people do you see and you look and they're in their heads. They're in their, I call it business mode. They're not looking. They don't have open focus. They've just got this, pathway that they're trying to get shit done. And that's just not the most available way to live life. It doesn't give you the greatest capacity for joy. So open your focus, look around, look for people to smile at, look for people to laugh with, be funny. I love being funny. It's one of my favorite things. All right, so the belief systems that you have. The beliefs that you have, and this goes along with, I did a post on Facebook today, and it was all about the lighter energies. So the heavier, denser energies, and I see a lot of heavy people. And I've shared before, your heavy energy will conduct your body weight. So the heavier you feel, the heavier your body's going to be, and the more attracted you're going to be to heavier substances, heavier foods, heavier activities, right? So the more you can lighten yourself, lighten your load, lighten the way you feel, you will be more attracted to the lighter energies, and you will be able to get through life in more ease and flow and less denser energies. When you are dense, when you are heavy, when you are in heavy emotions, you are only focused on the 3D. You're only focused on what you can see right here, right now, which is reality. Very dense energy, very hard to move energy, very much in the problem energy. When you lighten your frequency, when you lighten your load, when you let shit go, You actually step into more of a higher consciousness living, more of that stream, more of that light being of who you really are. You're a light being. That's what you are. You are part of the stream of infinite intelligence. You are part of the stream of infinite energy. When you know this, you start to lighten up and life doesn't become so serious. And you stop focusing on the stuff that's not going right. When you're always focused on what's not going right, you're missing everything else. And you could have one thing going wrong and 9 things going right. And if you focus on that one thing going wrong, eventually those 9 things are going to go wrong too, because it's frequency. It's what you're tuning into. So your belief systems were created at a very young age. And often your belief systems are other people. So your parents, your teachers, your peers, your siblings, right? Growing up, we were subject to a lot of different belief systems, and many of us still hold those today. We still hold those today. And you'll know if a belief system isn't yours if you hear somebody else's voice in your head. You know, if you hear your mom's voice or you hear your teacher's voice and you really get curious about like, where did this belief system come from? You'll know that it's not from you. And then you'll know that it's not yours and you can let it go. I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with where we have let stuff go and they're like, as soon as they realize it wasn't theirs, they're like, oh my God, that's not mine. I don't have to claim that anymore. That's not part of my identity. And they're like freed from it, like immediately. Beliefs are just thoughts. They're just thoughts that we keep thinking. They're thoughts that we have thought so much over time that we've connected them with emotions, strong feeling, and activation. And that's what tunes us into certain things about ourselves and about the world we live in. When we do this, we conduct energy. When we conduct energy, we get evidence of it. And because we get evidence of it, guess what? It becomes true. It's true, but it's really true. Like my bank account is like minus. So obviously I'm broke. And it's like, do you really want to believe that about yourself? Do you really want to believe that there's never enough for you? Do you really want to continue living in survival mode? Or how about this? I have a life-sucking job that I absolutely hate, but I can't quit it because I won't survive. I'll go broke. What? Like to do that to yourself and keep yourself in this box limits your potential of all the amazing things that are waiting for you, all of the amazing things that you could experience, all the amazing joy, the freedom, the love, the abundance. There's more money out there for you. If you're in a life-sucking job, there's way more money out there for you when you let that shit go. And I'm going to tell you this, if you're not going to let it go and you're too afraid to let it go, eventually it probably will be taken from you, or it will get so bad that you'll just be like, I can't do this anymore. And why do we need to wait for that? That's my question. Why do we need to spend another day in misery? I don't think we do. And the thing about it is we've got to be ready for it, right? So if you're not feeling super inspired to leave your job, don't just quit your job and then look at me and go, hey, chick, what am I supposed to do now? No, don't do that. It has to be inspired. You have to feel strongly enough that it is the right path for you to let it go. But if you've got this voice, that higher guidance voice every single day or in the middle of the night saying, get out of this situation, relationship, job, whatever is causing you the most amount of misery, if you are getting that higher guidance to let it go and you're not letting it go, I promise you it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because that's the law of attraction in action. That's the law of attraction doing its job. It's giving you what you are focused upon. It's giving you what you are feeling about. All right. So, your beliefs can be very strong because of the evidence, and your beliefs are creating no matter what you say. I know a lot of people that have been like, oh, I do my affirmations every day. Or one of my favorite ones was like oil, like people would use oils. And I'm not like I'm not dissing oils, like do whatever makes you feel good. Like to me, everything's a tool to make us feel good, but they'd be like dousing themselves in abundance. And meantime, they're fearful and they're anxious and their bills are coming and they're sweating it out and they're worried and they're fearful. And it's like, you could take a bath in that abundance oil and it's not going to help you, because your beliefs are what's creating, your vibration is what's creating, and what's going on underneath is what really truly matters. When we were going through our toughest financial times, this is like right in the beginning of when we discovered law of attraction, and we had a lot of manifestation things happening that were amazing. But right before we discovered the law of attraction, right at the very beginning, we were trying to deny our feelings. We were trying to just feel good, go for walks, and meanwhile, our world is crashing underneath us, and we both have so much fear that we can't even speak to each other about it. And the evidence was there. The evidence of our true belief systems was there. So your beliefs are creating all the time. I believe this is why we kept living in a house that was foreclosed on. For 5 years, we lived in this home that was foreclosed on, because I truly believed I would give it back. I never really went into massive amounts of fear about them taking the house away. I made a strong decision that I would give the house back when I was ready. And it's not optimal. That's not an optimal way to live, but it did allow us to follow our dreams, because we were able to save money and to get out of a situation that was really not favorable to people. I'll just put it that way. All right. Nothing will come to you that will change your beliefs. So this is really important, especially in our world right now, when you are seeing people arguing for their beliefs, trying to convince other people of their beliefs. This is the thing about beliefs. Only what you believe will come to you. So the people right now who are still wearing masks, or who are still living in fear, who still believe there's things to be afraid of, those people are still conducting from that. They're still receiving information that tells them they're not safe. They're still receiving information that doesn't allow them to understand our immune system, to understand that we're safe, that we conduct, that we create our own realities, and that putting something over your face isn't necessarily going to keep you safe. However, that thing you put over your face, if it makes you feel safe, then it is keeping you safe. So that's the interesting thing about it. So that kind of lets us all off the hook, because we don't have to argue with people and try to bring them to our side. We can just let people live and let live, and get the evidence of what they're believing. And if they are meant to awaken to something else, they will. But it's not our job to try to awaken them. That is a waste of energy. With manifesting and beliefs, this is super duper important. Get super honest about what your beliefs are. Look at everything in your life. Write down what your beliefs are currently. Write down what you are seeing evidence of clearly. Do that, because you need to know where you are. You need to know where you're coming from. And you need to acknowledge these underlying beliefs in order to create new ones, in order to let those go. Because if you don't acknowledge the beliefs you have underneath, and you're in denial and you're trying not to look at it, you're still creating from them, and you cannot work with them. You cannot work with what you don't acknowledge, and what you resist persists. So that fear we felt, that anxiety we felt underneath, came in the way of electricity being shut off, cars being repossessed out of our driveway. I mean, a whole host of things were happening because we were not acknowledging, we weren't dealing with our stuff. We were just trying to push it all down. And were we wrong for that? Absolutely not. That's part of our expansion and growth. I regret none of it. It was also part of what I can speak to now, and understanding how energy works and how to manifest. Are your beliefs rooted in the past? So do you have a belief about yourself because of past failures? Do you have a belief about yourself because maybe you tried something and it didn't work? It's time to start over. It's time to start something new, because this is the thing about beliefs rooted in the past and beliefs about yourself in the past. We are constantly changing beings. As much as you may feel like, oh my God, I've been stuck and I've been doing this thing for years and years and years, you're not. You're absolutely not, because it is our soul's path to expand and grow. So you are different than when you created that. So if you went through a super scary ass illness like cancer, and you had to go through years of chemotherapy or, different things, you're not the same person that received that cancer. You're a different person. You've up-leveled because of that disease. Now, if you keep yourself in those low-level belief systems, in those low frequencies of anxieties and fear, it could potentially manifest again. So it's important for you to work on this, to really journal it out, to journal out those fears, to feel the safety, to go, hey, I won. I'm free. I'm cured, and really feel the freedom of that. I think people don't like to do that because they're like, they jinx it. You remember that? Oh my God, I'm not going to tell anybody because I'll jinx it. It's like we're waiting for the other shoe to fall. We're waiting for something bad to happen because something good happened. No, celebrate it. You're cured. You're free. Say that to yourself every day. I'm cured. I'm free. I'm healthy. I'm whole. I've stepped back into my well-being. I had that experience for a reason. I've learned. I've expanded. I've grown. Journal about it. Release it. Get rid of it. Okay, are my beliefs making me miserable? That's a really good one. Are my beliefs making me miserable? You know, if I had gone to that house this week and I thought, oh my God, I can't live without a bathroom upstairs. How the hell am I going to live without a bathroom when I go to the bathroom so many times? If I had done that, I would have tuned myself into a frequency that would have woken me up 7 times a night to go to the bathroom. As a result, I only got up once a night, which is really rare for me. And it's actually broken me, I think, of that every time I wake up, I'm going to go to the bathroom thing. This is too much information. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, but we all live the same life, right? If you don't, let's see, do you really believe in yourself? Do you really believe in yourself? Don't you have evidence of your ability to manifest in the past? Yes, you do. And even if you're new to this manifestation game, I'm sure you can look back over your life and see how many times you've succeeded and see how many times you've actually become, how many times you've actually won, how many times you've shown your power, how many times you've gotten yourself out of situations that were not optimal. And if you haven't, and you've been living a life that's less than and unlucky and sucky, you're in the right place. You're in the perfect place to expand and become more, especially because you're listening to this. Don't let fear create your belief systems. This is super important. So ask yourself, is fear creating this belief system? The way that you know if fear is creating a belief system is it will always keep you safe and the same. It will always talk you out of experiencing things in life. It will talk you out of taking those leaps of faith. It will talk you out of living where you want to live. And it'll say, I'm fine. You're fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. Like everything's okay. Shit. If someone's telling you to just stay in the okay, yeah, that's your fear. It keeps you small. And it's usually someone else's voice in your head, either the news or your mom or your worried aunt. You know, somebody else is putting their worries upon you, and you are taking them and making them your own. And that becomes your identity. So don't let fear create your belief systems. Don't let fear keep you small. Remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. So it does not need to conduct in your experience. It's not real. Fear is not real. And when you look fear in the face and you start journaling about it and you get to the bottom of it, a lot of times you're going to find out that they're like your 5-year-old fears, that they're your old fears. This is your old belief system. And you got to start releasing from there, journaling that stuff out, breathing it out, and asking for new beliefs and asking yourself, what do I really want to believe? What do I really want to believe about myself? What do I really want to believe in this experience? What do I really want to believe about my abilities? I think sometimes we might believe that we're underqualified for stuff. And I'm going to tell you this, if an opportunity comes across your path and it's freaking amazing and it's going to up level you, and maybe you don't have all of the tools yet to really know how to do it, you got to trust. You got to trust that you will get infinite intelligence, that you will get wisdom, that people will be there to help you through it, that you will figure it out. Because if you keep yourself small, you'll never, ever know. Everything, I mean, everything is subject to our judgments and perceptions about it. And because of that, we can come from old belief systems, old judgments, old perceptions. And as soon as something happens, we can ask ourselves, do I want to continue to believe that? Do I want to continue to feel this way? Do I want to continue to create from this? And if the answer is no, The best way to do it, the best way to get out of these belief systems is to meditate. Absolutely, meditation is the number one thing to start clearing your field. Use guideds if you need to. Go to M21. We have tons of videos in there. YouTube is a great resource. But get yourself to the point where you're getting behind the mind. I like to say you're dropping everything that the mind is giving to you and just using the mantra, I don't have to think about this right now. Once you clear that field, you're going to get more in tuned and more connected to higher consciousness, to that higher guidance, to that place that allows you to raise your vibration to a place where miracles are created from, to a place where you are allowed to be your true self, where you are allowed to let go of these wounds, to let go of these traumas, to let go of these fears, and to really step into who you are in this world, who you want to become in this world. That's how identity creation works. You have to let go of the old belief systems that have continued to manifest cycles in your life. So if you've been in survival mode for a long time, and I get it, I was in survival mode for a long time and a couple of times. But the last time I was in survival mode, it felt different. And that's how I knew my vibration was raising. And everything now feels different. Everything now feels a little more alive. I feel a little more connected. I feel a little more available for love to people. And when you get in that mode, you know you're letting the denseness go. You know you're letting the heaviness go. When you are available to love, when you are available to love and be loved, and you're no longer in the misery of loneliness, and you're no longer in the misery of survival, and you're no longer in the worry and the fear about your finances, you will connect with something more powerful. And that something more powerful is where miracles are created, where opportunities are for you, where so much stuff is going to open to you. My daughter, I'm actually going to have a couple of my daughters on soon. She hurt her ankle recently, and it was a doozy. I mean, it was like a 6-week injury, and she is a server. Like, she works in a restaurant. She's on her feet all the time. And the opportunities that have opened to her from this have been stellar. They've been totally in alignment with what she wants to create. But when she was just doing it every day and working really hard, she didn't have time to contemplate what she really wants to do. So this kind of, as much as it was hard on her, she felt some misery, she struggled. As much as she felt that, it put her in the place of potential, because she wasn't just driving herself in business mode constantly. She slowed down. She had to. She was able to focus on a course she's taking that's going to allow her to become what she really is asking to become. So sometimes the universe delivers in ways that are not optimal. And that was part of my post this morning, was, how do you know that things are not working out for you? How do you know? Well, I have evidence of it. Well, guess what? The evidence that you have right now is from your past beliefs, from your past thoughts. It's from what you were thinking about an hour ago or a day ago. And the thing about changing belief systems and changing your life is this: you have a strong momentum. So you may think one day, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to think different. And for an hour, you do. And guess what? It's not strong enough. You're going to get pulled back. You've got habits, neural pathways, and loops and addictions to emotions that continue to drive you. So the key is to meditate every single day, journal out the fears and things like that, and then to get really conscious about what you're focusing on. And if what you're focusing on is an old belief or an old system or an old pattern, you've got to get good at interrupting it and just letting it go, just surrendering. I recently have just kind of had this, I just don't want to think about that. I'm letting that go. I'm letting that go is a great mantra. I'm letting that go. And honestly and truly, you may need to say it 100 times. You may need to say it 1,000 times. But the more you interrupt it, the more what's going to happen is that momentum is going to decrease. And then it's going to start to leave you alone. And then before you know it, you're going to be in higher frequencies where that stuff can't get to you. Those fears, those worries, those anxieties can't get to you. If they're coming to you in the middle of the night, if the fears and the worries and anxieties are coming to you in the middle of the night, that is something to pay attention to. That is something to get up and journal about and get it out of your body, because that's when, when you're able to really connect with what's truly going on inside of you and what you're really underneath needs to be, those wounds that need to be healed, those traumas that need to be healed. So those things aren't going to come to you if you're not somewhere in the frequency of them. So it's important to deal with that stuff when it comes up, because when it comes up, it's asking you to process it. It's asking you to heal from it. It's asking you to, do something about it so you can let it go, especially if it's a trigger, especially if it's an intense emotional reaction. You'll know if something's an addiction compared to if it's something that needs to be healed. One way you know is if you've already worked on it a lot. If you've already worked on it a lot, it's probably an addiction to an emotion. If it keeps coming up and you keep feeling triggered about it, hello, that's your job. It's your job to go, I'm stopping this. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I love that. I'm not doing drama anymore. I got 4 daughters. Good Lord. I'm out of the drama. I don't want to do the drama anymore. I want to be whole. I want to have a fully beautiful, functioning, loving family. Other people may have different agendas. It doesn't matter, because if I keep raising my vibe, if I keep stepping into love, we're all going to step into love together, because, the person with the highest vibe wins. The person with the highest vibe pulls everybody else up. It's so freaking true, because you are creating your reality. So if you got a bunch of people that are in a bunch of low vibrations, you're being pulled into them. You know that you're not as firm. Your foundation is not as firm as you had hoped it is, and you still have some work to do. So if you are, raising your vibe and everybody else is having their circus, and you're not diving into it, but you're staying above it, eventually everybody will raise to meet you, because it's your reality. It's your reality. This is your circus. These are your monkeys. But you don't have to take part in the circus if you've decided, I want to be happy. I want to feel joy. I want to be in appreciation. I want to feel love. If you tune into those frequencies, the people around you will either tune into those frequencies with you, or they will go away. They won't be around you because you're not vibrationally aligned with them. That's why you don't have to take relationships personally so much, because if it's vibrational alignment and you're not connecting with someone vibrationally, this actually happened to me in Connecticut, because I was thinking, like, in the past, I've had this fear of, like, oh, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see anybody that I don't want to see. And it's uncomfortable. And I don't want to have these small talk situations and blah, blah, blah. And I realized, I'm like, you know what? If I see somebody, this was very freeing. I'm vibrationally aligned with them, and I'm supposed to see them, and I'm supposed to love on them, and I'm supposed to spread my light to them. So boom, that was a huge freeing thing. And I went to places that I wouldn't normally go because I didn't want to see people. And that came on, like, in the middle of my vacation. I had that realization. So that was very freeing. So no fear, right, baby? No fear. So this is a little bit shorter of a show today because I have an appointment, and I wanted to really get this show in because I know I took the last 2 weeks off. You can always catch up with past episodes. I have like 74 of them now. Today's number 74. Amazing. I rebranded my book. How cool is that? Mindful Manifestation Secrets is now available on Amazon. It's got a freaking awesome cover. I love the cover. I've actually added some podcasts in at the end of every chapter that relate to the chapter. So definitely check it out. I may do a 50% off thing for my Manifest to Live Life Goldyn group if you're on it in Facebook. I tag everyone when I put up a post so you can see it if you're in there. I may do a 50% off when I order books, and I'll start sending them out signed, autographed, and a little sweet message for you. So that's the exciting thing about the book. And I would love to be able to share that with more people, because it's a really short book of super simple tools that you can use to manifest. It's really short. If you don't read, it's very powerful. I'm also going back into the studio to do the Audible. I never got the Audible done, which I'm seeing now why that happened, because I was going to change the title and change a few things in the book. So I'm hoping to get into the studio next week and have that launched very soon. So you'll be able to listen to the Audible of Mindful Manifestation Secrets. I've got some new stuff in the hopper. My creative circle is over. I'm going to probably relaunch that, but I'm going to see how it goes. I've got some potentially giant projects I'm working on right now that are extremely exciting, and I can't wait to share them, but I can't share them yet. And yeah, so love you all. I am excited for you. I'm excited for me. I'm excited for what's happening in the world that we live in when we take back our power, when we become deliberate creators. Anything is possible. Anything. We have the potential to create anything. So why not activate the energy towards it? Why not activate the energy towards the best possible potential that you could have in this life experience? I mean, why not? All right. I love y'all. Peace.